Good morning. Hi everyone. Welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to just speak a little bit about rose replant disease. So this is something that has arisen in my garden. So I thought I would share my experience with you guys. So basically we have a small area in front of our house, in front of the windows. It's a very narrow garden bed, and my mom is a big fan of roses. So quite a long time ago, she planted 4 rose bushes in this narrow garden bed. So one of them has not really done very well, and it just didn't thrive there. The color was okay, but the branches were always spindly, and I just didn't think it was the right rose for that place. So what I've decided to do is give that one away and replant it with a more suitable rose for that location. So the rose I chose, it's a David Austin rose called the Queen of Sweden. And I chose that one because it has a very narrow habit. So it's a very tall vase-like rose. So I think that is much more suitable for a very narrow garden bed. And it's got a beautiful pink color to it. And I will try to insert a picture of that here so you know what I'm talking about. But basically, the rose that is there, I have someone who wants to take it and is willing to try it in their garden. So it's going to be reused, which is great. So what I've done is I've cut it back quite a bit, significantly. I've had the gentleman dig it out. It's been put into a pot. It's ready for him whenever he's ready for it. So that rose is going to be gone. And when I was researching planting a rose in a location where another rose had already been, I found out about rose replant disease. So rose replant disease, what happens is when you try to plant a rose in a location where there was previously a rose already, the rose doesn't thrive. So basically it just stays kind of stunted, a little bit diminutive, and just doesn't really do very well. So when I was looking into that, I was first thinking, okay, then I can't plant a rose in that location because that rose has been there for 20 years. But what I actually found out, I was watching a video of Bunny Guinness, that you can actually, there is a way you can try to get around that. So I'm going to try that and see if it works. So I know it's a bit of a gamble. It may or may not work, but you never know unless you try. And I did buy this rose, Queen of Sweden, already, and it's been sitting in its container for way too long, and I really don't have another good location for it, so I'm gonna try it. So I thought I'd take you guys along for the ride. And basically what you do is you have to dig up the rose that's already there. You have to dig up as much of the soil surrounding that rose as possible. So you have to dig deep and wide and try to remove as much of that soil that has already been used or by the rose that was already there. Once you've removed as much of the, I don't want to say contaminated or sick, but the soil that was there that has already been infected by the rose that was present, you want to remove as much of that. And then what you want to do is you want to plant your new rose in a box. And what Bunny Guinness used in her video was a wine box. So I didn't have a wine box, so I used my next available alternative, which was a cardboard box. And it was a paper box made out of cardboard, and basically the theory is that you plant your rose in this new cardboard box, you surround it with fresh soil, new soil, and that rose kind of roots in, has time to kind of get stronger using the new soil. It's protected by the box from the surrounding kind of infected soil. And then by the time the box dissolves or kind of breaks down into the surrounding soil, the rose is strong enough to thrive. So that's the theory to get around rose replant disease. So I'm going to try it. So in this video, you'll see my old rose coming out and in a container ready for pickup for the new owner of that rose. And then you'll see me kind of go through the steps of replanting my Queen of Sweden in this very narrow garden bed. So hope you enjoy and hope it helps, and maybe you can use this in your garden if you want to replant a rose in a location where there was previously a rose already. All right, so enjoy the video, and hopefully we can do an update next year or something and see if this actually works. So I'm excited to try it, and hopefully you find it useful. Thank you. So here's the rose I'm giving away. So you can see that I've cut it back a little bit. It's been dug out and put into this Select Roses container. I'm not sure the variety of this rose. I don't even know if it's a Select Rose or not. But I can show you the bud. Even though the bud is red, the flower itself is actually this bright pink, really nice color. So this rose is being given away and being replaced. So I just wanted to show you that, you know, I've left the stems up so the new owner of this rose can cut it back before winter and transplant it. So I just was going to leave that for him. He's coming to take it. But it's better than being composted, so hopefully it will live life on in somebody else's garden and give them joy. So that's the rose that's being removed, and let me show you where it came from. So just along the front of the house here, we had this narrow garden bed, and this rose was right where that box is. So it's been dug out, and all of the soil has been removed from that spot. So apparently you cannot replace one rose or put another rose in the same spot a rose already was. So that rose was there for like probably, I don't know, 20 years maybe, or just under that, 15 to 20 let's say. So if I put a new rose there, it would suffer from rose replant disease. So it would not thrive, and they actually discourage you from planting a rose in the same spot as another rose. So in order to find a solution for that, I have been advised that what you can do is you can plant your new rose in either a wine box or, in my case, a regular box, since I don't have any wine boxes. I just got this cardboard box. You can see it's just like a copy paper box, and it fits in there quite nicely. And what you can do is plant your new rose after you've dug up as much of the old soil as you can into this cardboard box. And the theory is that by the time you've planted your new rose in the new soil in the new box, by the time the cardboard breaks down, then the rose is strong enough to handle the surrounding, I guess, sick soil. I don't know if sick is the right word, but kind of already contaminated soil from the other rose. So that's the theory, which I'm going to test. And so you can see I have my cardboard box ready. I've had all the dirt removed from that spot where the old rose was, or at least as much as possible. And it's been put into this bin here. And this is a David Austin rose called Queen of Sweden. And it didn't do the best in its little container here over the summer. You know, it was in here all summer. There was one time when it got really hot and I forgot to water it. So it's been suffering a little bit. So it's definitely time to get it in the ground. And fall is a very good time to do that, because we have a very rainy fall and it'll hopefully root in before winter, and I will hopefully have a new plant that's thriving here next spring. Alright, so we have the rose out of its container. We've shaken off some of the soil, and now let's see if it can fit in this box. And just wanted to show off the roots here. So you can see white roots are healthy roots. There was some cosmos growing, some seedlings, and I think those green roots are from the cosmos, which I've taken out. And yeah, looking pretty good. So I don't need to do any teasing of the roots really. I think it'll fit in the box quite nicely. So we have the rose in the box and have looked at where the crown is. I made sure not to bury the crown or where the graft is. So you can see right here, make sure this is going to be above the soil. And then just check the box and it's pretty much level. So once I've made sure that's level, I make sure that the box is going to be level with the edge of the hole, because I want to be able to mulch around the crown. So, you know, I want to make sure that over winter it gets a good layer of mulch to kind of be around the crown, protecting it, because that's usually where the dieback occurs, is on the crown there. And the crown is really like where the roots kind of separate into the green stems, these branches here, these green stems, where they start coming out. That's where it joins the brown part. That is the crown there. All right, so now I have tried this rose all four sides, like all different ways, turning it, twisting it, to see what will look best from the front. And I've come up with this side. I think this side looks the best, facing this kind of way, and it's kind of like a vase shape. So Queen of Sweden is known to be like a vase shape, which is really why I think this rose is much more appropriate for this spot, because it is such a narrow spot and you need a kind of a tall, narrow rose here. So now I am not going to fill this with the soil that I removed. I'm going to fill it with fresh, new garden soil. So that's kind of the next step, and we're going to bury this and hopefully it will thrive. All right, everybody, we took a little break and we're back. It's a little bit darker now, but I wanted to show you the soil that we're going to put into this rose box and around it to prevent the rose replant disease. So we wanted to pick a soil that was specifically for outdoor use. So you can see at the bottom here, talks about for in-ground use. So this is not for containers, and this is specifically for tree and shrubs. So a rose is a shrub. It's fortified with phosphorus and iron and improves the existing soil and feeds up to 3 months. So hopefully by the time it's spring, we're going to be fertilizing anyways, and I'm hoping this will help make this rose bush thrive. And you probably could use, like, you know, whatever mixture you want, but you know, my whole thing was I wanted to make sure I had clean soil that's going to feed it, and I think this one will do the job. All right, so it is getting dark, but I just wanted to show you the texture of this. So you can see it's a little bit chunky here, and what I'm doing is just tossing it all around in and around the box. And I can't do any really heavy lifting. I had to get help just even getting this bag here, so I'm just going to do this slowly and I'll show you the final product. All right, so the rose is in. It's been fairly well buried, but now I just have to put all of these daffodil or narcissus bulbs back in. So I'm going to put them all around here so they will bloom in the spring before the rose blooms. Hi everyone, so it's been over a month since I did that planting in the box of the rose, and now it is just after the first week of November, so let's take a look and see how it looks. Alright, so first thing I notice is that we have a lot more leaf fall or leaf litter since it is you know, the starting into the second week of November here, so that's normal. It's a beautiful sunny day. And I think I won't have to mulch. What I'll have to just do is pile some leaves around here. So I think that will be my strategy, is I'm not going to mulch, but everything looks good. So I think this is going to be a success, but we will find out next year. But overall, looking good. So that's the progress after about a month of putting this in, and the leaves are looking really great and happy with it.